Hi everyone. Hi everyone. So here is 3 at 3. Thanks for joining us. We just wanted to start right away. And here we are with today we're gonna discuss data plus women or the women in data. And we have two amazing participants. We have Erica and Katie. If you have never seen a 3 at 3 before, you've never been here before. So the idea, this is a mystery chart talk show. We're going to show some data visualization that none of us have seen before. I just put this on the screen just 10 seconds ago. And the idea is for us to start answering some questions and get our reaction and also understand, how can we make it better and what we like or we don't like. And that's the idea of this mystery show, talk show. And here's my new shirt. Everybody was asking me about the shirts. Of course, Katie and Erica are gonna get their shirts. If you want one, you're gonna have to join us like they are. And also, we have Aaron is on the chat. He's gonna be helping us, and we're gonna put all these questions on the screen. And also, please, if you can, share your thoughts on the chat, right? We want you to participate too, to be part of this process. And so, are you guys ready? Everybody's ready? Erica, you ready? So 3 at 3 starts now. So Erica, tell me, what do you see here on this chart that you like? And is there any insights that you can see? If you want me to make it larger or anything, just let me know. I selected this chart. I'm going to tell you why later, but this is a chart that really was interested to me because I found this on an article. So this chart is from an article. One of the things that I want everybody to know is we're not specific to a data visualization like Tableau or Power BI. Is any type of data visualization can be here on the show. And the idea is for us to share, and to learn from each other how we look at charts and things like that. And of course, how can we make them better? So what do you think about this one, Erica?
So I guess I'm interpreting this as part of a larger survey.
Mm-hmm.
So reading the title at first, I wanted more from it, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, knowing what it's a part of, I understand the formatting is keeping consistent, probably with a larger piece. Um, I guess I don't want to go too much what I don't like because I feel like that's later questions, but I do like that the numbers are very large and easily readable,
Okay.
and that
Yes.
you do have the distinct colors between men and women that are easy to tell apart, at least for me. I'm curious how they would work and kind of want to like the color blind or one of those settings to be able to tell if they are truly distinct and accessible.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Katie, what was your first impression when you look at it? Or anything that you think any insights, anything that you think about the chart that grabbed your attention, anything that you like?
Yeah, I think the colors definitely grab my attention, and like Erica said, the numbers are large and easily readable. Um, my first honest impression was I'm confused. What
Mm-hmm.
is this? There's big circles going on. So it's just kind of like at first I see the 67 and 44. So it's okay, what is this? And then I go up and then I look at the titles and things. So it's kind of like a reverse
Mm-hmm.
read of it, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you another thing where I got it. Okay. So this chart is from. I really love this article, right? It's actually I love that picture, of course. Everybody that knows this picture have to know this picture. And why the world needs more female leaders. I think that was an amazing article, right? And if we read a little bit about the article, we can see that 6.4% of all the Fortune 500 um, companies are women CEOs. I think that was incredible, right? And this was in 2017. And what is cool about it, what grabbed my attention was that I was looking for a data visualization for today's show. And when I went into some of here in Google, what I noticed was that most of them were like just bar charts. If you think I'm an name, you can go over and over here, and they were all bar charts. But this one grabbed my attention because they were using these circles. And I think the same way, and I love the big numbers here, the call out numbers or the bands. but I think this is a little strange how they did the circles. And that's what I wanted to bring it in. I mean, another thing is this was done by McKinsey. We expect, to make it something easier to understand. And if you keep reading the article, it will make more sense, but it's still, if someone shows, somebody else in a room or something, just this chart, it can be confusing, right? So
One
I want
thing
to
I
go ahead. Mhm.
One thing I would say though is, I mean, I would prefer it to be bar charts, honestly, but what like going with the circles, I will say that it's more memorable and that the
Mhm.
67 versus 68% like definitely
Mhm.
sticks out more in this
Mhm.
representation of it. Whereas if it was a bar chart, it wouldn't really be, it'd be so hard to tell at
Mhm.
1%.
Mhm. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
anybody?
agree. I
Yeah.
agree with it sticking
Hmm.
out. I think if it was just the circle and the circle without the large number, people in general have a very hard time deciphering what a circle represents because you
Hmm.
don't know whether to use the diameter or the area or how it kind of relates.
Hmm.
So I think with the number, it's passable, but again, I think that there's probably a better way, a clearer way to do it, but it does make that impression that this is different.
Right.
Correct. 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 Yeah, and definitely, definitely. And then you can see here, the other thing is we can see that there is this no, I will say like here, right? We have this area where we're trying to decide how much is that area. Is that like 1% or like how much is that area between the two circles, right? It's kind of like a little difficult for me to understand that. It's a little confusing. One of the things that I did like was I like these annotations here, right? Like there's these annotations here and here. There's these annotations. I did like those annotations, but it still was kind of like difficult to understand the circles for me. Yeah. Any other comments? Any comments from the chat, Aaron?
Nope, just me, because I've never seen a circle in a circle like that before.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about this last week with another one where like the initial visualization is like you can't get a whole lot out of it, but it immediately grabs your eye because it's different. It's way different than anything else you see. So maybe that was the point of what they were trying to do here is like give them something that's not just another bar or a column chart, that something that will
Mm-hmm.
make them look twice and then actually read the article and dig into that. But it doesn't really make it clear within the chart itself of what they're trying to portray.
Correct, correct. If anybody's and watching it, please, if you guys want to add anything on the chat, please do so. We'd love to get your feedback. I'm going to put here the third question. So, Erica, what do you think it could be a little bit? What can we do if we had to present this? Let's say in the next hour, we had a meeting today, or you have a meeting today, right? Like, what can you do to make it a little bit better?
I think that we should be relating more the expectations to
Hmm.
who achieve it, since
Hmm.
that's what the title is suggesting.
Hmm.
And how the relationship currently is the circle that is within that oval compared to a bar chart. So I think if that's the comparison that they want to draw, that women want to be top executives, but yet there aren't as many that achieve it, it
Hmm.
would be better to have those be the same type of visual so they can be easily related to each other.
Got it. Awesome. Awesome. And Katie, do you have anything that you will do to make it a little bit better? Maybe, I don't know, the colors or
Yeah, I'm okay with the colors. I would
okay.
just jazz up the font and the labels. Like I would love to see even just a W and an M or the full women men
Mhm.
label underneath the 25 and the 42%.
Mhm.
Um, maybe even rotate, like pivot it horizontal. It's not a huge difference, but it might just, I don't know, visually look a little better.
Mhm.
And then just, yeah, the titles, like I said, like right away, I jumped to the 67 and the 44. So if those titles could be bigger, the bold black titles above, if those could be more prominent, I think that would be beneficial.
Okay. Yeah, for me, when I watched this, when I found this actually, for me was that circle and circle, something I'd never seen before. I mean, and it definitely grabbed my attention, but it didn't mean that it's right. that it's okay, because I got even, it was confusing, right? So, but I think, like you said, if we take away this circle somehow, and we use a different visualization, then in this case could be just bars, right? As simple as that. We can also do maybe what is the variance between men and women? What is the variance? Maybe that's more important, right? To show that, which in the article they talk about that within the article. You can see it on top. It says, it kind of gives you some metrics of the variance between men and women. But what it's not here in the chart. It's kind of like difficult for someone that is looking at this for the first time to understand what is the picture. What is it I'm really talking about here? And what is that I want to transmit as a story, right? For this, it's kind of like a little hard. It may need additional information, things like that. Aaron, do you have anything?
Yeah, we had two people comment.
Yeah.
A LinkedIn user mentioned that this is a survey from Europe, and you assume it's the U.S., but it's just 5 European countries, but it's so small in print there that it's not prominent enough to even see that. And then Eric Kim also mentioned that they had one of these circle and circles before, and it was too confusing for them, so they did something else. But he kind of agreed that it was a little difficult to comprehend the circle and circle. It looks neat, it's different, but in a business sense may not make the most logical sense.
Yeah, I was seeing the chat, and that's what I had a comment about the 2,242 respondents in 5 European countries. It's like, that seems like a footer, but they should bring that European part as a piece in the title. Most European men and women, so then it is clear where the survey has taken place. And then you could still give that context of how many people were involved without having it as one of those top lines. Like Katie said, it's like you read backwards. So maybe that is technically the bottom, even though it's at the top.
Go ahead. Okay, one other idea while you were talking, Yamil, a little bit ago, is that with the color we could play around with it, and so maybe like soften that gray color, and then like if we wanted the focus to be on the women, on those percents, like make the men softer, and then I don't know, like do a different shade of pink or whatever color you wanted to do, but so the eye kind of goes to the 68 ring or the 48 ring or the 25% bar.
That's true. Yeah, and if it's only 5 European countries, I mean, honestly, I missed that completely. I don't know. I missed that. And maybe we should show the 5 countries, and we should show the rank of them and the variance, and then show it, and maybe we can get a better picture of what this means, right? Because it's only 5. It's not like, it doesn't seem like there's no 100 countries here or anything like that. That could also help this visualization substantially. The other thing that I noticed, Eric came from the chat. He said, you need to use the KISS principle. So he's talking about keep it simple, stupid, right? And it's true, you have to make it easier than what this is. Thanks, Eric, for that. So right now, what he's saying is confusing. It's definitely confusing.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms of keeping it very simple. If we want just the connection of people who want it and then also want it and think it's going to happen, we could do, oh my gosh, I'm losing the name, but like the line charts where like they connect, and then you could see that the men, it only drops off slightly versus the women, it falls significantly.
A slope chart.
Yes, that.
Those are great.
Yeah, we were looking at one today, this morning. Aaron and I, we were looking at one. No, slope charts definitely will work here. Will definitely work here. There's no doubt. It will work. Yeah, that will be another great option. Anything else, anybody, or from the chat that they want to share before we go to the next chart? Anyone? Was this fun? Was this one fun? This friend with those circles? That was the idea. When I saw the circles, like, this is perfect. Let's use this one. But this is a very good topic. This is very important to keep talking about this, and I'm very glad that we selected this themed today. Erica, if you want to share your screen, and we can go to your chart. And anyone in the chat, Aaron added where this visualization is. So if you want to look at this article, read it, and check it out. Let us know.
Okay. Let's share my
Man.
screen.
I'm going to take out mine.
Okay, can you see my screen?
No yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Aaron, do you see it? So we can select that.
Not on my end. That's a you and a land thing.
Elaine, can you see it? No, do you click on the...
Yeah, click on share screen and then select which screen you want to share and then click the share button.
Okay. Go back to this. Yeah, I guess having a window. This is not good.
Wow.
You're good. I have to load mine. Take your time.
Yeah. Emil,
I was going to say, if I share my entire screen, I'm not seeing the.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Is that Katie's?
That's Erica's.
Oh, that's Erica. So
yeah, I can't see you guys anymore. I can only see this screen. So.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I don't need to see you.
Wow.
I'll just imagine.
It's really cool. I really like it.
This visualization is from the census, and clearly the topic is about women. So that was what grabbed me, and I guess go ahead with the questions about it.
Yeah. So, Katie, this is your time to shine. Dun, 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 dun.
All right. Well, this is the first minute and a half that I've seen this. I like it. I like the colors. It looks very organized. Read a little bit.
It looks
okay,
good.
So it's cool. It shows you the women's salaries. Or no, okay, so it's the percent of women in the bar chart and then the median earnings by gender. So that's really cool. Like there's a lot packed in here actually. So yeah, it'd be interesting to look at it more in depthly. And I do like stepping outside of the actual data. I do like the footer where it has the census and then it's like a softer shade of purple and all the credits at the bottom. So I like the layout and everything. I like how the title's big.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Yeah. Okay. Any quick insights that you can get really fast? Anything?
I mean, like immediately I want to find where my role is and how I'm doing versus that's cool. And that's good. I mean, that's what you want in a chart. You want the audience to jump in and relate to it. So
absolutely.
I'm looking, it looks like that teal dot is to the right every time. Oh, I guess we have the summary at the very top too. Yeah, interesting. I mean, like look at the difference in financial managers and then look at it for like nurses and nursing assistants. Judges, there's a huge gap.
Everyone in the chat or watching, you guys can add it to the chat, anything that you can think of. So for me, I really like it. I like it a lot. I like the title. I like it's big. It makes sense, right? I love that the title have the same color as the bars. So immediately I can see women is that color, right? The same color that it's a female in here. In this case, in the legend, we can see it's the same color across from the top to the bottom on all three visualizations, all three charts. We can see that is the same color. That's amazing. And I also like that, the green is the male, so I can identify that really, really fast. I like the chart on the right, the ones that are I think this is the Gantt chart, if I'm not confusing, but I really like them. I use them constantly when I do survey data, when I work with survey data. I like that it's ranked so the percentage of women occupation group is ranked right from top to bottom. So I can see really quick, okay, hairstylists and cosmetologists seems like there's a very large percentage of women in this occupation group. I really like that. It makes sense. I like the also where they have this all occupation, the range from 0 to 100, and the other one I think is from 140. I really like that. I mean, it says that it's the past 12 months. Yeah, I like a lot of it. Like the colors, it's pretty good.
Yamil, were you confused, or Erica too, were you confused at all, or do you think it might just be me, but like I see earnings and then I see a bar chart and I assume that we're ranking based on what that salary amount is or the earning amount is. So I'm wondering if maybe we need to call that out, that, oh, we're showing the percent of women that are in this group.
So that was one of the comments. Like I made myself little notes, of course. And one of the things that our chief economist always does is he will write whatever the value is within the bar chart. So if you saw that like hairstylists and cosmetologists said it was 88%, you would immediately know, wait, this isn't earnings. What does that mean? And then maybe dig into it more. So like that would give you a hint that it wasn't related, or you could even flip the right and left charts so that you're looking at earnings first and then the percent of women in that group.
Awesome. We have a lot of, I mean, you nail it. There's a lot of people in the chat talking. I really like this. Aaron, do you want to say anything from there and from the everybody on the chat?
Yeah, Jeff Baker mentioned that he likes that bar chart combined with the dots to the right. I personally would like some bands. That all occupations, is that 20? Is that 46%? Or you don't really know. Also, those dots to the right with the median earnings, I don't know what those actual numbers are and what the difference between the two of them are. I think it'd be good if you had growth rate over the last couple of years, and Eric Kim mentioned that as well, to be able to see that change over time. The past 5 decades, something like that. Another person said, good point on the representation of the bar chart, if it's total salary or another metric. So yeah, it almost seems like they needed to put those somewhere at the top there, or top and bottom, so that you're not mixing 2 different measures.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a good question. Yeah, it's interesting. I think for me it's very small, right? Like the one on the right, on the left, they're just way too close together. I would like a little bit more space in between, white space, especially where it says all occupations. You end with 100 and start with 20, and it's kind of just too close, right? Those ranges there. A little bit more space could have worked better. And actually, Aaron is right. I mean, some bands, some like total numbers or something right away. Like as soon as I open it, tell me a little bit of the story. Tell me something that I can grab really fast, because I have to study it a lot.
Lynn in the chats, he made a great point. He said it's hard to read the earnings range, especially when you move towards the bottom of the list. You constantly need to move your eye to the top of the chart to decode what dots are down there to the bottom. So you're going back and forth to see what that number is. It's a great point.
Len, thank you so much, Len.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point.
Another comment on space is just I appreciate how large the job titles or the occupation titles are. But just maybe vertically, if we could get a little bit more space, so there is a gap between those. On the left, it's a little, I don't know, dense, or
Yeah.
I don't want to say cluttered, but it's kind of difficult to read that.
Yeah, when I found this, I thought overall it was a good chart. It was fairly clear in what it was presenting. I had those immediate, they could tweak this and make things more clear, like, putting the scale at both the top and the bottom and things like that. But in general, I was very pleasantly surprised with this visualization. And it made me want to dig into the data more. Like my immediate thought was, oh, hey, how about these percentages of women in each occupation group? Is there any link between like how many women are in a group and then the disparity between the earnings? And I really wanted to see maybe a scatter plot or something else, like using this data in a different way. It at least encouraged me to say, hey, this is a good start. What could we dig in further from this?
I like that.
Yeah, I love the dots on the right though. I mean, once you realize females purple, males blue, you can easily scan going down and you can draw some conclusions pretty quick. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So if you want, I will hop over to a similar but different viz. This is the same data, but a previous year.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Interesting. And this is the sense, everybody that's in chat or watching this later, this is this US Census. So this is what gets me excited. I mean, we're just looking at something that it's from the US Census, and we can talk about it and we can, think through it and find things that we can do better. That's awesome. Okay, so here there are really three. Seems like there are three different ranges here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Three different things.
I thought there were two. Okay, there are three.
Yeah.
I will say it's a bit harder to distinguish, at least on my screen, it's a bit harder to distinguish between the male and the female colors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a green and then a dark green, almost like black for the male. Yeah, I thought that was the first thing. I was like, oh, their color scheme is so much worse the previous year.
Yeah.
I love the overall layout, though. I love the top and then that bar at the bottom that gives us all the data that we need about the sources.
Yeah, I think this is incredible, right? Like this was the previous year, right, Erica? This was the previous year. So you can see that they definitely got some data literacy over there somehow. They just had a new person to create this, but it definitely I see an improvement. I mean, the new one I like it a lot better. I mean, it's definitely better. We can still say that we can improve it or we can do something to it, but I prefer the first one than this one. There's no doubt, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think you see the power of having that, or at least for me, I see that power of having that bar chart in that first column. It really helped on the updated one.
Okay, yeah.
I also was very, I guess, anti-square. I felt like those are harder to decipher than the circles in the original.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Yeah. In here, they separated, right? Like you can see the first is women, then male and female, and then the last one is women. So kind of like, but in the other one, the dots on the right had both together, which is better, right? That's better visualization because then you can compare the space between the two dots, or like kind of like the variances. When in this one you don't have that. Yeah, I really like that. Very interesting. And anybody else?
Yeah, that's interesting because here I mean, I know we want them to be equal, but here it doesn't look terrible because you see 75 to 100% of the male salary, and so you're thinking, okay, well, whatever. But I mean, when we saw the gap on the first chart and it was all the purple teal, I think it maybe leads you to a different story.
Yeah, I was very curious how they selected occupations in general for these visits.
Absolutely.
Because some of them are the same, but then there were some differences too.
Okay. This is cool. Did you saw any differences on the ranking that we see here? I think hairstyles were the first one, right? Yeah. And there's the same, yeah. And taxi drivers were almost at the end. Yeah, I think it's very similar. Yeah. Very interesting.
And then I guess I'll blow your mind one more time.
I like this next one much better.
So this is when
this is just the prior year. So the first chart or viz we looked at was the 2019 American Community Survey, and they published that, I want to say, in like the visual in May. And then the viz we just visited, the green one, was from the 2018 American Community Survey, and then this one is the 2017 American Community Survey.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, this is the type of chart that I was talking about. So if anybody on the chat or here in the panel knows Steve Wexler, he loves to use this type of chart in surveys, and he's Tableau Master and an expert on visualizations, specifically to surveys. And he does uses this are Gantt charts. So yeah, I mean, this is the ones that I use too when I deal with survey data.
So do you find it valuable to have that black connecting line between the dots? Like, does that add value, or do you think, because I think it kind of detracts from.
It just gives you the size of the variance, right? Like, for example,
and I guess you could label it with the actual difference.
Yeah.
My guess is
better.
My guess is that they put that line there so that your eye didn't lose which dots you were trying to keep a track of. Like if it's, so that you looking at the right dots, the right row.
It definitely emphasizes the width there.
Exactly. I think the key to use them, and this is something that I also learned from Steve, is you have to rank them. So if you look at the one on top, which is ranked, kind of like ranked, not completely ranked, but it's easier to understand. So if you can rank them all from top to bottom or something like that, I mean, it just makes more sense. When this is interactive, so in this case, it's just an image, but when this is interactive, it actually works better too. Because then you can... Go ahead.
I can just... it looks like they're sorting is by the sections. So the first section is that purple header, and then the green header, and then the yellow header. Okay. It is sorting descending based on those bucketed groups.
Okay, gotcha. That's true. I think I got confused with the all occupations. That's what led me confused. The first one. Yeah. Len said that he loved this chart. He said this is perfection. Great, Len. Thank you very much.
The one thing I thought about adding was for all of them, I like that there's the different shown with the 2 dots. But I think having maybe a bar chart showing like the number difference as opposed to maybe the percent would also be helpful. Because like Katie said with the lines, I personally don't get any additional information. Like my eyes can see that these 2 dots are very far apart. The line doesn't help additionally tell me any more information. So I don't know if like based on sorting if you had a different one that showed those bars, that it would be easier to say like within the 80% group, teacher assistants are the most, but what's the second most disparity? Is it occupational therapists? Is it registered nurses? Like those ones look very similar to me.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And again, like when you open it, it's like, where does your eye go just visually? And my eye keeps going to that really long line for financial managers. And it is in the center of the page. So maybe that's part of it, but I can't like not look at that distance right there.
We have Andrew Kim on the chat. He said, I love this graph over time. Is there any progress behind made in equality? That's right. I mean, maybe in the tool and the hover, we have in the tooltip, you have another bit in the tooltip or something. If this was interactive, I think that will work great to give it some context. I think definitely that will seriously help this chart. Anybody else have anything that we can say about how to make it a little bit better? So let me tell you what I think. And I did this the other day with something we had at work. So if you can input yourself inside this chart, that will be nice. Give me an example. Let's say that Erica is able to answer the same questions, and she can have now another dot here, a little line across that identifies her with, and you can compare yourself with everybody that took the survey. So that's something that we did the other day. We had a skills metric, and we were comparing, okay, myself. So I can select in a filter drop down, I can select myself, and I can compare myself with everybody else. And that, I think, it helps a lot with dashboard adoption. It's something that really helps when you are part of the same dashboard, right? So I think that's something that we can definitely add here. Let me see.
Yeah, Emil, to your point, and to Andrew's about making it personal, what would be awesome is if there was an input at the top here where you could put in your own salary, and then that dot would highlight on whichever line that you needed to.
Exactly.
I was thinking, similarly, I was thinking, or you could just pick your occupation, and then it highlights it somehow, or
Yeah, an occupation.
Draws an arrow or
And then,
something,
yeah.
so I can see, okay, where in what row would I be in?
Absolutely, I like that. I didn't know, I didn't thought about that. That's amazing, Katie. Of course, that will make lots of sense. Where because that way you don't have to look through it, right? Like go through the whole thing, see where you at. That makes total sense. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah. Anything else anybody wants to share about how to make it better? I think in the chat. Let me see, Eric.
Yeah, he said that the
Right.
groupings are nice in matrix views. It's very consumable. The line between the dots allows them to do a quick mental estimate for the variances between those salaries.
Correct. That's what I thought. Okay, great, Eric. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, Katie, we're waiting for you.
All right.
Everybody on the chat, if you guys can share whatever you think, if you think that this is getting, I mean, you're getting some value out of it, share with your friends, please. Let us know. Give us a follow. We need your help so that the company let us keep doing this. No, we definitely learn a lot. I mean, I really enjoyed this. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Are you able to see my screen?
Hold on. Can you see?
To my knowledge, I'm sharing. So.
It says that you're sharing.
Yeah, let me try again.
If not, I will try to get it from the.
All right, here's another try.
If it doesn't work, Emil, you could always I put the link in there. You could always click on it and share your screen.
Might need an assist.
Okay. I cannot get. Oh, perfect.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, is that the one?
Is that me or someone else?
Wow, man, this is amazing. So it's in the chat. If anyone wants to click on it, it's in the chat. If you want to look at it in Tableau Public, this is amazing. I've never seen this before. This is pretty cool.
That's good. Yeah, I thought someone might use it today, so I had to have a backup.
Wow.
It's got viz and tooltips still.
Yes, just by looking at it, I imagine this is a lot of work. This is a lot of work. What is underneath? Can you scroll a little bit down?
Yeah, I don't know if we want to zoom out, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So we have a how to read it section over here.
Oh, perfect. Now it looks perfect. Okay. You have an how to read section. Oh, wow. Oh,
it definitely needs a how to read section. It's so much, so much information.
Yeah. So we have, so it tells you, like, it points out here the little guide of what to read. And then you can click on the different sections at the top and filter the view. Might take a second. Okay, so now we're looking only at. I clicked on gymnastics, but I'm pretty sure weightlifting is not gymnastics.
Okay.
That might be a
great find.
The how to read is impressive. I mean, it's a lot of work.
There's a lot packed into it.
Wow. Okay. So, Erica, what's your first impression, Erica? Let's go to the first question.
Let me go back to another one.
So my first impression was like, wow, somebody spent a lot of time doing this. And that it's one of those vizzes that without a how to read, I probably would look at it for a few minutes and be like, I can't get anything else. I'm gone. But with the how to read section, and it's very clear what your directions are, then it was like, okay, now I want to explore it. I really like the use of like the people and like the colors. I think that it looks just very sleek. Like I'm floored by, someone doing this.
This is cool. Yeah.
This was done by lady named Yvette, and she is a Tableau Zen master. So that speaks
Wow.
volumes.
Yeah.
I think it was actually, Yvette and then Julie.
And
Burnett.
Julie, okay.
So it was
I
a
like.
team effort.
I'll tell you what I like. I love this retro kind of like old school thing here. Something about it. But I am biased because I love all that stuff, like old school stuff. I don't know. I like that. It's just really cool. The I don't know. It just transports me to another time. It says 2020, but I really like that. I like they also look like I don't know, like those baseball cards, right? Like baseball,
Yep.
like baseball cards or something. It looks something like that, which is cool, and it's definitely very appealing. Um, I had a hard time when I was looking at it on this where it says Tokyo. You have to move your head. You see, okay, this is a women individual gold medals. Like that, I'm not sure if I would have done that. Yeah, but I really like like I said again, the I don't know. It just is it true that every single image are there the way maybe they're clothes or something? They're like old school, or I'm not sure. Mm, hmm, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think they just did whatever photo editing to make them
Okay.
all
Okay.
seem
There's
simpler.
there's two other things I like about this.
Mhm.
There's many things. In the bottom right, they've got a link that takes them to their cause, what they're kind of what they're doing. That the data suffragettes. Suffragettes. Yeah, I don't know how I say it.
That's fine.
But also in the upper right hand corner, there's those three dots. Well, those are actually the filters where you can select a specific sport and a specific nationality. Which are kind of hidden up there, so they give you that interactive ability without like putting an entire bar for two filters. So I think they did a good job of once you know it's there, you're good.
Yeah. Andrew came in the chat. They look like trading cards, which is pretty cool. He also said this is more an infographic for a newspaper or magazine, which is true.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. What else we have? The categories are a little hard to evaluate. I'm sorry, given that they are behind the athletes' silhouettes. Okay. Mhm.
Right.
And each of the names are like you have to turn your head sideways to read them.
Correct.
Yeah. Another thing is, I don't know how we
Mm-hmm.
feel about the years in the red on the bottom left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, today it looks good to me, but when I first looked at it a couple of days ago, I didn't know if that was the best thing to put next to the athlete, just because it's the year that the sport was introduced for women. It's not really specific to whichever athlete achieved the gold medal.
But Katie, what I did find interesting there is 2020 was the first year karate was.
Okay.
So
yep. I see.
That is surprising.
That is surprising to me too.
That's true. Well, and I guess it is cool to see like up here fencing was 1924. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So let's see.
I do like that when you hover over the people, everything is horizontal though. So I'm not, I guess, going to recognize the average Olympian just by their photos. So even though their name is not oriented so that you have to do your head, if you scroll over it, you can easily read it. So I think that that makes me okay with the orientation to kind of get it into that like square formatting that they needed for the layout.
Okay.
Because there's other ways you're going to be able to read the name if you're interacting.
Katie, could you explain, under where it says how to read and it says category, can you explain that a little bit? What is those different shapes, I think?
Yeah, so I think right now I'm filtered in. I think if I reset the view, then I would see, instead of like being filtered into combat sports, I would see all of the sports together, and then I could distinguish and say, okay, well, the hexagon is combat, and then this frilly shape is water sports. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. I was wondering what the flower, it's not a flower, but that red icon behind them was, but it looks like that's if they broke the record.
Uh-huh.
So that's why some have it and some don't.
It says in the how-to that little, I think it means it's the first time they're at the Olympic Games.
Oh.
Oh, you're right. Yep, right here. Okay. Okay, and then there's another identifier.
I do wish the category shapes were a bit more distinct, because I feel like you have to really search, you know, what has like certain knobs to be able to tell the difference. And maybe there would have been a simpler shape or version to tell the difference like at a glance.
And then speaking on the point of, I know in a prior visualization, we talked about having the big numbers. And so, I mean, I love the view, like it is like a poster or something, but it could be cool to have a chart up here at the top or a second page or something where you see, I don't know if there are trend lines of how women have performed in the past Olympics, or I don't know, the numbers, like the number by country, or I don't know, just something to get a little bit more analytical just beyond this.
So we have Len from the chat here. He said he loved it, like most of us. He said, but there's probably too much going on here. The cars have so many variable parts that it's difficult to see or understand everything. You know, Len gave me an idea of how we can use this, actually. You gave me an idea. If this was my visualization, this is what I will do. I will use this as a menu for like the first page. And then when you click on one of this, it will take you to another dashboard that then you can see the detail of time or more details or like easier to understand. But this is kind of like the first page, right? So like I want to see more about one specific karate. So I click on that image and it will jump into another dashboard where I can see very specific things about that karate, for something about gold medals, right? So then I can see maybe turnover time, maybe I can see the specific names of the athletes, anything like that. But this could be a good set way to get your users to look at this dashboard, right? And use it as a menu or something, or so the first like landing page, and then it will take you somewhere else. I think that's how we'll use it.
Yeah, I almost wonder if you could have like a filtering option for the user where they only want to see so many pieces of the data at the at a time. Like I want to see the person's name and who won and if it's their first Olympics in their event, but I don't really care, you know, what year it was or whatever else, and maybe like compact the pieces so only certain parts of the visual pop at a time.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Another thing is, I mean, if each element, like this example down here for swimming, like if each one is beautiful and good enough, then maybe like you start with a scatter plot, or you start with some kind of menu hub page, and then you can go and just click and just see the one fill up the screen instead of seeing the grid of all of them.
Yeah, so here we have 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5. Maybe each one should be, I mean, less. There's just too many in one page, right? That's another option. And maybe you separate this in 5 pages or something, where it's 5 tabs, where it's easier to look at, because they're just way too small to look at all of these little details that are around the image.
You could do, this is kind of sidestepping, but you could do a lot of cool things with these images. I mean, you could have a bar chart and have years of training or years of competition or whatever, and then like have that be the stopper at the far right of the bar, have the athlete image just for some fun visual.
Yeah.
I know for myself, I would kind of be interested in seeing, you know, the people that have been here before, where they don't have that flower in the background. When you've hovered on their picture, it may give you like what year they were last in the Olympics and how they did, or something like that, so you could see how well they've done over time.
Yeah. So Len in the chat have almost the same idea, and he's saying why you don't show what is the most important information, like, and then put on the tooltip, move into the tooltip the access information from the page and then reveal only when you click. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else have anything that you like or anything that you will make it to make it better? Aaron or Erica?
I'm just thinking if again you had to rush this into a meeting, there's
Mhm.
not a lot to change. At least for me, maybe the one thing I would try to do is to make the background of all the people a little more simpler, so it's not so overwhelming.
I would probably bump, I think Erica said it, bump the title over here and put it across the top. I don't know that there's, I mean, it makes it vertically longer, but I don't know if there's a huge detriment to doing that. I think there's more to be gained.
Yeah. For me, it's just all about size. I think they're just way too small. So one way that you can fix this that I saw the other day in a map is, let's say that each one of this you add it again in the tooltip, right? Because this is Tableau. So let's think about when you, let's say that I hover to one and on the tooltip is the same thing, but it's just expanded. So when you hover on it, it will just look big and bold. So it will cover like half of this page, but then you can
Right.
finally see it. It's like a zoom. Think about like if I hover, it will zoom the image, right? It will zoom just down one so you can focus on just one and you can see the whole thing. That would be something that I would just try to see if people like it better. Like a zoom, like if you hover on it, it will zoom. Something like that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Or you can have something on the bottom of the page where the page kind of like, collapse and then you can see it underneath and it zooms again, just that one that you're looking at. Something like that. Anybody else have any, or in the chat? Oh, look, there's something in the chat. Hold on.
Yeah, Andrew's thinking we put an Easter egg in here somewhere.
I'm
That's a very
curious
good one.
what he would add.
Katie, this one's amazing. I mean, it's really cool, Eric and Katie. You have brought such a great visualization. I really, I don't know. I just feel this is amazing. I mean, just the way that we're able to talk about this and discuss and learn something new. I've never seen them. Never, not even similar. Nothing. I really think that they look really good. Just for this type of discussion is really cool. So we're almost at the end, but I also wanted to ask you like if anything that you like about this exercise, anything that you enjoy, or anything that you can say to others they want to share or like they want to join us in the future. Yeah.
Go ahead, Katie.
I loved it. I mean, I had not seen the visualizations you both shared, and then I mean, I learned from both of you just different ways that you would visualize the same things or things you would tweak, or we agreed on some things, but other ideas I hadn't even thought of. But then also just with the group, I mean, is interesting because I would say like, oh, I don't find value in this element of the visualization, whereas others were like, no, that gives me quick insight. And so it's like, okay, well, that's good because I think how I think and what I'm used to seeing, but it's good to know that no, that is super valuable to others, and maybe like they're not looking at it to look at it for 10 minutes. They're looking at it as, okay, I'm a CEO that needs info in a short amount of time. Yeah.
That's true. That was the idea of this show is like, honestly, this is how the business environment is. You go into a room, you show a visualization. You only have like less than 1 hour because when people start talking and then you start and you're probably having issues just putting it on the screen. So you have less than 1 hour for people. And then, if you have 10, 20 people in the room, everyone will look at it in a different way, which is incredible, right? But that's how it is. And this will help us understand why they're looking at it that way. Maybe what is the reason? What can we do to improve it? But that's the main idea of and then of course it's just a lot of fun. I think that I always when we do this we're looking at something that I just completely miss it, and then somebody else is thinking about that, and I will never thought that will be a problem in this visualization, but it could be. Yeah. So what do you think, Erica? Anything that you like to share?
I definitely encourage anyone to come on. This was definitely a fun hour.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love looking at things
Exactly.
and kind of speaking my piece, because like Katie said, everyone sees it differently. And hopefully I added something that maybe someone else didn't think of, because I heard ideas that I was like, oh yeah, that would be great.
Exactly.
It just is, it all depends on what you're thinking, and sometimes even the day. Sometimes if I revisit something a day or two later, I have a completely new idea. So
exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say, as designers or developers, like we put our best work out there, hopefully. Like we try to, and spend a lot of time and like thinking about the design and building it out and everything, and thinking of all the things we could think of. And then, I mean, a lot of the better visualizations come when you're in a meeting and then you hear the other viewpoints, or someone like doesn't get what you thought was super duper clear. So I mean, it's good to have the collaboration.
That happened to me all the time. I of course, when I'm dealing with and all you are in our Tableau user group and with Aaron, and then I showed him something, he's like, oh, I don't understand that. Everybody will understand, or Katie understand, or Erica. But then when I go somewhere else, and it's not that people that are like maybe more data literacy thing, right? Like you read these charts all the time. You have books about data visualization in your home, and you go to someone else, they're like, no, I don't understand that, or like, why? I mean, how could it be just so simple? But it happens all the time. But that's the idea. So, Aaron, do you have
Emil,
anything?
yeah, I just wanted to say, and I say this, seems like I'm saying this every week, is you see when we go through these examples on the fly, that everyone has those different ideas of how they're looking at this dashboard. And us as designers need to make sure that we don't just stay in our bubble and say, like, I'm the expert, I know exactly how this is supposed to be, but your end user is never going to understand that. So it's a good idea to work with your end clients as you iterate these things, so that you don't go completely down one path and it's nothing like they want in the end.
Yeah, I think that's a great point about the audience too, and also the visual itself. Because with Katie's, if it had just been a poster as is with all that information, I don't think I would have been able to add anything other than maybe your title should be this direction. But because it was an interaction, there were interactive viz, it was like, you could add this or you could try that. So I think that also helps too, that it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be static or interactive to get so much more out of it, that, there are different ways to display.
I was going to say real quick too, I mean, I've been designing in Tableau for years, so I kind of get used to what the Tableau look and feel of things should be, or how we typically do things, which is terrible to have something like that. But I mean, like, if it's like, oh, I just developed this, I'm going to go show someone who doesn't use Tableau, like a family member that's like my grandma or something, like, they have no idea, because they don't know how to use tooltips and they don't know to click to filter. And I mean, you learn from everything. So
That's true. No, that's absolutely right. I mean, it's very cool. I mean, the idea of we all do this, and still we found things that the other ones maybe, I don't know, didn't see or didn't understand or whatever. It's impressive. And many of these dashboards, for example, the one that I had is coming from McKinsey. I mean, like a large, consulting company, and visually they are supposed to be very good at this thing. So. And it's still, or the U.S. Census, right? Wow, the U.S. Census. I mean, and this is very interesting. And you think about it in this word of COVID and all that stuff, when we are watching in the news constantly, on newspapers, constantly visualizations and things about this, and everyone gets confused about the data, right? So it's so important to kind of like present this data in the right way, that most of the people will understand and get less confused, because now you're taking decision on something that you were misled, or like was not clear, and that's incredible, and that needs to be fixed, and that's what we're trying to do here, to learn more about that. Yeah, thank you so much. Anybody in the chat? Oh wait, maybe have something in the chat. Let me see. Anybody in the chat who wants to share anything? Let us know. We're doing this every week. You are both invited for any week. Anytime that you want to participate, we're more than welcome, or anybody that you know from your teams. We just want to share this with the community, And anybody, like I said, can be here, can share with us. The idea for the show is just for having people like normal individuals like us, like this is for the users, for the average user. We're not gurus, we're not like super experts or anything, or academics. We're just the normal people. How do they look at charts and visualizations? That's what we're trying to do here and to learn. So yeah. Oh, thank you so much. You're gonna have your share soon. I'll contact you very soon. But yeah, no, thank you so much. Hope to yeah, you can be on the show in the future. We, like I said, we're doing this every week. We're not stopping any week, and this is gonna be people can watch it later if they want to. It's gonna be there for them to watch later, and you can share, of course, whoever you want. But just thank you so much. I hope that you have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. Anybody else want to say something? And if not, then we're good to go.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Another
guys.
third show. It's a special 3 at 3. The third show. Forever here. Stand forever. The third one. Thank you. Bye bye.